on our very first Seaman Corp roof system. It was the first one we did. We did it in 1981, and we're replacing it because the owner, they're in the food production business. It's in-made noodles in Millersburg, Ohio. And you know, when you're in food production, perfection matters. Inside, cleanliness. And they've had a couple of leaks here and there. 5 years ago, we did just a major walkover, patched a number of things, and this spring they had a couple of leaks that showed up in this valley behind us. It's a roof they've talked about replacing for 7 years, and each year we've looked at it and said, "Oh, it'll go another year, it'll go another year." 7 years ago I told them 5, and here we are 7 years later, and it doesn't look any different than it did 7 years ago, but they just decided it was time. So I can still say after 42 years, I don't know how long a fiber-tight roof will last, because this one hasn't failed yet.
So you said it's like 7 years ago, you said it would be 5 years, it kept going. Now, when you have something that needs replaced, actually, you usually say, it's like, okay, you need to replace that in a year, we'll do it next year? Or is it hey, we're leaking and taking on tons of water?
Usually we can repair leaks to the point where, you know, they get a little bit of time to get something in the budget. You know, it's not like fiber-tight roofs never leak. There's all kinds of things that can happen, from physical damage to just maybe a lap letting go for whatever reason. It's very repairable, and that's one of the beauties of this product, that even at 30 years old, when we did some valley alterations and Seaman Corp asked to get the other side of this 30-year material for some study, we brought brand new material over and we welded it to the top side of a membrane that was 30 years old at the time, and there was nothing hard about it. That's unheard of in the single-ply roof industry. I've grown up with it. You know, we have done fiber-tight as long as I've been roofing, and that's, well, longer than I've been roofing. I've only been roofing for 41 years. So if you've got any questions you want to ask me specifically, I am sure happy to try and answer them.
I mean, how have you seen the seams here hold up? Like any water, filtration, voids?
That in 1981, when there were no details, there were no acceptable, accepted standards of the way to do things. You know, today, all these wrinkles that are in the seam, that's not acceptable. We would have to strip that in, and we didn't. And, you know, it's still there, right? 100%. If you look over here at this edge, that drip edge was put on top of the roof, nailed into the nailer, and we caulked along the edge. It's not been stripped in, nothing. This roof has survived in spite of us, not because of us. There were so many things done on this that any roofer would walk up today and he might look at it and say, who's the hack that did this? But in 1981,
he didn't know any better.
No, and Seaman Corp thought it was okay too. You know, we didn't know. Now, can these become problems? Sure. The fact that it's got good slope has certainly helped. If we went through here and we really picked at these seams, we might find a couple spots that we could pull apart. But we can't see them.
And so, like when you re-roofed this, like sometimes you drop tools or something, you ever have problems with any punctures in the roof at that time?
You know, there isn't anything that's roofer-proof. I'll have a tube of caulk, and I'll set it over a piece of ISO, and I'll just hold that tube of caulking, you know, at shoulder height, and I'll drop it. That is a very real life test, right? You know, sure, we can take an awl, or we can take a sharp piece of steel or a knife, and we can cut up anything. But a tube of caulk that hasn't had the tip cut off yet, dropped from, you know, it's no different than it falling out of a toolbox or whatever. And I can put a piece of EPDM or just about any other single ply that's out there, and it will penetrate through it. And there's that tube of caulking standing straight up out of the ISO. You do the same thing over Fibertite. And it doesn't have to be Fibertite XT or Extreme. It can be regular 36 mil, and it just bounces off of it.
All right. And you've serviced this over the years, correct? So,
Yeah.
like, what was it, about 2 or 3 years back? We had that giant wind, rain, and a little bit of hailstorm. Blew down some trees. Did you find any damage that you had to replace here or anything?
There were roofs where, for a number of years, really probably close to 30, Seaman used their non-reinforced material in the drains. And we've seen where a severe hailstorm on an older Fibertite roof may blow through that material at the drains, but you step back away from the drain and the rest of the material is in excellent condition.
Okay.
An example I'll give you, Myers Industries has a Fibertite roof. They're up in Akron, and we did about 100,000 square feet on 3 different sections of their building, two warehouses and their office. At 10 years old, it was hit by one of the biggest hailstorms to ever hit Ohio. It was baseball-sized hail.
Yeah.
It took out every window, destroyed every car. It was devastating in every sense of the word. The Fibertite roof, the only place that it leaked was at those drains where it blew through. That roof is still in service today. I think it's 25 years old now. So that hail event occurred at age 10. At 25 years old, the 2 warehouses are both in service. It's truly amazing because that kind of hail destroyed every other roof that I knew of that it hit.
Yeah, so that just kind of shows that's like, it's not just your coating, it's also what's underneath that. We got a really thick fabric package in there. You've serviced it for 42 years-ish, but like we said,
Right.
came back after initial installs. If there were patches to be done, is that hard, easy? Did you have to clean it real good, or?
You know, Drew, you worked on our service crew for I'm not sure how many years, and were a foreman. You have certainly patched a lot of this. I can't speak from personal experience. Comparing this to repairing other aged single plies, what's this like for you?
This is probably one of the only single ply membranes that you can weld to over an extended period of time. And even then, if the top is too, if we call aged or dry rotted, you can still put a patch underneath and weld from below.
Okay.
And it welds just fine, like it was brand new yesterday, honestly.
So I guess you've seen what works. Like, this has worked for 42 years. If it were TPO or a regular PVC, what do you think we'd be sitting on right now?
A new roof.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never seen a 42-year-old TPO, and I've never seen a 42-year-old PVC by a different manufacturer. You know, and I've put down quite a bit of some of the PVCs that contain 15% KEE, and at 25 years old, they really start to become troublesome. They have been impossible to weld to, and you know, a number of those have been replaced. So, to say what would a 42-year-old roof of another kind look like, it would look like trash because it would be in the landfill. Probably a decade or so ago. You know, I was talking at the IRE, the International Roof Expo here, maybe about 5 years ago. I was on a contractor panel, and we were back in the speaker ready room, and the different contractors, we were just talking shop, what we like, what we don't like, and I was talking about Fibertite and how much I liked it, and started talking about all the problems that I've had with TPO. And when I say that, we installed some of the original TPO roofs in the United States when Goodyear first started back in 1988. And I can say that up until at least 2010, I had never seen a TPO roof outlast its warranty. I know of one that went 15 years, with a tremendous amount of love and care that went into milking it that long. But a highly respected roofer from the Western United States looked me right in the eye and he said, "Man, I love TPO. I know I'm going to get to re-roof that building in 20 years." And I just, that's not what I want to bring to my customers.
Yeah.
There's plenty of roofs out there.
Yeah.
I don't need to do yours in 20 years. I want to be able to drive past that building 30 years later with my grandkids and say, Grandpa put that roof on 30 years ago, and be proud of it, not the other way around.
Yeah, I know when I've talked to some of the warranty guys, one of the things that they love about their job is they don't have to enforce most of it.
Yeah. Seaman has always been fantastic when it comes to warranty claims, because let's face it, nobody's perfect, right? And we as roofing contractors make mistakes from time to time. And we have had things that passed inspection and went beyond their 2 years, and maybe we just had a little problem with a lap. Seaman Corp is always taking care of every problem that has ever come their way, and I've never had to fight with them. And just about every other manufacturer out there, I've had instances where their roof failed, and they have fought tooth and nail to not replace the roof. Anything they could do to get that roof to last up to the end of their liability is all they wanted to do. And since I've never had a fiber-tight roof fail, I don't know how Seaman Corp would approach that, but I guess I'd rather use one that doesn't have a history of failure, right? I think the best indicator of future performance is past performance. That's why I promote this product so strongly, because nothing else has performed like it.
I can definitely say, like, as far as when things do fail, so I try my best to take care of it. It's like, yeah, it's our customers. Like, same thing. Like, if something goes wrong for one of your customers, you want to fix it.
Right, and I think that's a company culture at Seaman, right? You want to protect your name.
Yeah, and there's also that integrity. It's, yes, you do it to continue business, but at a lot of our people, it's like we want to go to bed at night knowing that we did all that we could.
I am so glad you said that. The finest compliment I've ever been paid professionally, my superintendent was interviewed during a consultant interview, and it was supposed to be confidential. And the guy said, "I'm only telling you this because you want to know this." Again, this is my superintendent, the guy that quality was in his hands. And he said the thing he liked most about working for Hicks Roofing was that Mike Hicks has never asked him to cut a corner to put more money in my pocket. And I know I've always felt like that's the same commitment to quality that Dick Seaman would have. And that's the way that company was operated, and it's why I've always been so comfortable hanging my hat on the product that you all make